Then $22.6 million. That's the price America pays every year for a creature less than 10 centimeters long. They eat clams, crush lobsters. On the Maine shore, the shimmering sand was no longer the color of the sea, but the deep green of thousands of green crabs crawling like a living wave. Fishermen pulled up the steel cage. Inside were only green crabs, nothing else. They survive in ice, salt water, fresh water, even after being crushed. Scientists call them sea cockroach. They don't come to exist. They come to take over. Can humans stop this invader? Or is America witnessing a biological invasion right on its own shores? Granddiscover, green crab, invasion, the $22.6 million destroyer attacking America's coasts. They were not born here. Green crab. These came from across the ocean, from the cold shores of Europe, where they were once just a tiny species among thousands of other creatures. More than 2 centuries ago, when the first commercial ships docked in Massachusetts, thousands of crab larvae were unwittingly carried into the ballast water, a humid and salty place. When the ballast water was discharged, it drifted out to sea and began a journey of invasion that lasted more than 200 years. From Cape Cod arrived Nova Scotia. Then along the shore Pacific, Washington, Oregon, California, the little crabs have traveled further than the ships that brought them. Every new body of water is a battlefield. Every seaport is an open door to irreversible expansion. Today, the distribution map of green crab have covered most of the American coastline. They are no longer strangers. They have become part of the sea, a part that humans have never invited. They're small, but programmed to survive. Green crabs, the perfect omnivore, clams, mussels, snails, shrimp, even seaweed. Nothing escapes its razor-sharp claws. A female can lay up to 185,000 eggs per season, and it takes just 1 season to spread throughout the bay. The larvae drift with the ocean currents, traveling hundreds of miles, and then grow up in rocky crevices and seagrass beds, places that once belonged to native species. They can tolerate both cold and warm water, survive in salty or fresh environments, and regenerate legs and claws in just a few weeks. When food sources are scarce, they eat their own kind to stay alive. Biologists call them biological bulldozers. Biological bulldozers, the biological bulldozers of the ocean. But in fishing villages along the coasts of Maine and Massachusetts, another war is underway. Every dawn, fishermen release hundreds of steel cage down into the shallows, where clam and lobster beds used to be. When pulled up, it was all green crab. There is nothing else. At first, they are disappointed, but after many times, they have to start adapting. Instead of throwing away, they start keeping. Some sell them to restaurants to make broth, some to fertilizer plants, and some just for research. Creatures once considered marine trash, now a new source of income. Humans are turning invaders into commodities, and as money starts flowing, the line between conservation and exploitation becomes blurred. Between the sea and the wallet, they no longer know whether they are saving the ocean or learning to live with a conquered invader. But with their terrifying reproduction rate, catching them is no different. Shoveling sand in the storm. The more they catch, the faster they reproduce. On the surface of the water, humans think they are the hunters. But under the sea, perhaps it is green crabber the ones hunting us? Across the New England coast, once vibrant clam beds are now bare sand. Green crab have eaten clams, crushed baby lobsters, and destroyed seagrass beds, the breeding grounds for dozens of commercial seafood species. In Maine, damage is estimated at more than $22.6 million per year. Many fishing families have had to give up their jobs because every time they pull up their traps, they only catch green crabs. An entire coastal economy, built from generation to generation, is collapsing, wave by wave. Across the New England coast, once vibrant clam beds are now bare sand. Green crab have eaten clams, crushed baby lobsters, and destroyed seagrass beds, the breeding grounds for dozens of commercial seafood species. In Maine, damage is estimated at more than $22.6 million per year. Many fishing families have had to give up their jobs because every time they pull up their traps, they only catch green crabs. An entire coastal economy, built from generation to generation, is collapsing, wave by wave. Those little crabs are not just destroying ecosystems, they are gnawing away at human livelihoods. When steel cages were no longer enough to contain the tide of blue crabs, scientists turned to the lab. From Maine to Washington, dozens of research projects were launched. Some companies try to extract chitosan from crab shells to make pharmaceuticals and biomaterials. Chefs try cooking new dishes from the ocean's most hated species. Every effort carries the same belief: if you can't kill them, make them useful. But as profits emerge, a bigger question also arises. Are humans saving the oceans, or just learning to make money off the chaos they created? While green crab as another creature continues to thrive offshore, another is quietly disappearing. It was once the pride of America, a symbol of the multi-billion-dollar seafood industry, Maine lobster. Waters once teeming with lobster traps are now overrun by blue crabs. The balance has shifted. The weak become prey. The invaders become masters. Now, in the same sea, green crab and lobster not only fighting for survival, but also deciding the future of the entire coastal economy of America. In Maine, lobsters are more than just a food. They're a symbol of an entire coastal culture. People here call them red gold of America. Then 90% of U.S. lobster production from the Gulf of Maine, where fishermen have made their living at sea for generations. Year 2016, this industry is more valuable, $1.4 billion, creating jobs for tens of thousands of people, from seafarers, refrigeration engineers, to luxury restaurants in New York and Boston. In the salty morning mist, the man dragged the heavy cage, the cold air rising from the seawater. On his sunburnt face were the marks of wind, of salt, of a lifetime dependent on the ocean. For them, each lobster is not just a luxury dish, but survival ticket of an entire coastal community, where the sea decides who stays and who must leave. In the cold night, the temperature drops minus 20 degrees Celsius, and the waves were higher. 3 meters crashed straight into the side of the boat, but no one dared to delay. This was the hour of the sea, and the rhythm of life that was ingrained in their veins.
Yeah, this is going to be fun for about 5 minutes.
The boat left the dock, rocking violently in the gray mist. The fishermen stood firm on the slippery deck, their calloused hands gripping the ropes, pulling each steel cage weighing hundreds of kilograms out of the water.
Yeah, this is going to be fun for about 5 minutes.
There was a metallic sound of grinding seawater splashing, and in the rising cold air, each crimson lobster appeared, something they had paid for with both strength and blood. Each one is carefully measured for classification and tied with a rope to prevent biting each other. They work in silence, with only the sound of waves and the engine, not because they are used to it, but because they know each time they set sail could be their last. We fought the sea, the storm, and our own fears, just to bring home the only thing left, hope. A fisherman shared. Lobsters, the symbol of luxury of million-dollar parties, are traded for days drifting between cold winds and rough waves. Each crimson lobster on a silver platter is the result of hours of labor in sub-zero temperatures between wall-high waves and biting winds. Every year, along the Maine coast, there are dozens of fatal accidents. Boats that capsize, sailors who never make it back to shore. In small coastal funerals, American flags drape the decks of boats and church bells ring through the fog. From 2010 to 2018, Maine entered a golden age. Lobster prices doubled in just a few years, turning hard-working fishermen into symbols of the economic revival of the Northeast. From a poor man's food, lobster became luxury symbol, sold for up to $80 per pound. America's red gold, the pride of the ocean. But the ocean never keeps a gift forever. As sea temperatures rise 1.5 to 2 degrees Celsius, lobsters begin to leave shallow waters in search of cooler, deeper places. Meanwhile, green crab, tireless invaders, swarm into breeding grounds, crushing shrimp eggs and destroying the delicate balance of the sea floor. Some areas have lost up to 70% of output in just a few short years. Fishermen pulled up the steel cages and looked into the cold void inside. No more red shrimp, just seaweed and a few green crabs crawling around. From an empire of prosperity, Maine now faced a nightmare from the very ocean that had once saved them. The ocean once gave humans everything: wealth, food, hope. But as the weak disappear and the aggressive strong rise, will we still have control over what we call empire? Or is it the sea that is choosing who survives? Sign up Granddiscover, where every wave tells a story and every creature out there is a reminder that nature never stops reclaiming what belongs to it.